The winter was colder than any I could remember. Snow blanketed the streets, and the air in our house felt like it carried more than just winter's chill. My sister Karen and I used to sit in the attic late at night, whispering about Mom. Losing her left a hole that never healed, and one night we thought we'd try something different, a seance. We lit candles, whispered her name. Karen swore she heard something, a faint shuffle, like footsteps in the walls. I laughed it off. It's just rats, I said. We didn't think anything would happen, and at first, nothing did. But then we started hearing the whispers. At first, they were faint, like the wind slipping through the cracks in the house, but they grew louder, persistent. Sometimes they sounded like a voice, low, guttural, as though someone was struggling to form words. Karen and I told Dad, but he just laughed. "It's an old house," he said. "Creaky walls, rats in the pipes, nothing to worry about." But the noises didn't stop. One morning, I woke up to find my room trashed. Clothes were scattered across the floor, my desk drawers pulled out, and their contents dumped. At first, I thought Karen was playing a joke, until she showed me her room, the same chaos. But there was something worse. A message was written on my mirror in what looked like red lipstick. "I see you." Karen found one too. "Do you miss me?" We screamed for Dad, who scowled and accused us of trying to scare each other. But Karen and I knew better. Something or someone was in the house with us. It escalated quickly. One night, I woke up to the sound of heavy breathing so close it felt like someone was standing over me. My body froze, too terrified to move. I finally gathered the courage to flick on the light, but my room was empty. Karen wasn't so lucky. She woke up screaming, claiming she'd seen a pale face peering at her through the crack in her closet door. Dad stormed into her room, but when he opened the closet, there was nothing there. Karen was hysterical, swearing she wasn't imagining things. And then there were the other things. Our food started going missing. Whole loaves of bread, jars of peanut butter, milk cartons. Once, Karen found her favorite sweater, torn and crumpled, stuffed behind the couch. The toilet flushed on its own. Lights flickered. The whispers became words, chilling and deliberate. "Come find me." One evening, I stayed up late, reading in the living room. The house was quiet, and for a moment, I felt safe. Then I heard it, a faint scraping sound, like fingernails dragging along the wall behind me. I whipped around, but nobody was there. My heart pounded as the sound grew louder, moving closer. That's when I saw it, a pair of eyes staring at me through a tiny hole in the wall. I screamed, and Dad came running. He insisted I must have imagined it, but I knew what I saw. Someone was watching us. We tried to ignore it, but the terror only grew. One night, we found all the kitchen knives laid out on the counter, their blades glinting in the moonlight. Another time, Karen discovered a small pile of hair, her hair, tucked into her pillowcase. The worst was when I found a Polaroid photo under my bed. It was a picture of me taken while I was sleeping. Dad finally believed us after that. He searched the house from top to bottom, opening every closet and checking under every piece of furniture. When he reached Karen's wardrobe, he hesitated, his hand trembling as he grasped the handle. When he opened it, we saw him. A boy crouched inside, his face painted ghostly white. His eyes were wide, unblinking, and his grin was twisted into something inhuman. He held a rusted wrench in one hand and a hatchet in the other. "Don't scream," he said softly. His voice was calm, almost kind, but it made my blood run cold. He ordered us into Karen's bedroom, locking the door behind us. We could hear him moving through the house, his footsteps unnervingly light for someone carrying weapons. The minutes stretched into hours before Karen and I darted to climb out the window and run to our neighbor's house. The police arrived quickly, but when they searched the house, they found nothing. No boy, no weapon. It was like he'd vanished. 2 nights later, Dad saw him again. He was staring out of Karen's bedroom window, his face pale, illuminated by the moonlight. This time, Dad called the police immediately. When they arrived, they tore the house apart, finally discovering a tiny crawl space hidden behind the bathroom wall. Inside was the boy, Daniel, wearing one of our mom's clothes, which he probably stole in the middle of the night. He'd been living there for weeks, maybe months. The crawl space was filled with food wrappers, empty cans, and small, disturbing items, locks of our hair, trinkets he'd stolen, and dozens of Polaroid photos of us. And then there were the holes, dozens of them, drilled into the walls, just big enough for him to watch us. He'd been there the entire time, watching us sleep, eat, live. But still, sometimes, late at night, when the world is silent, I hear it again. The whispers. Come find me. The Daniel LaPlante case is a chilling story of a Massachusetts teenager who, in 1986, hid inside the walls of a family's home for weeks. After posing as a friendly suitor to one of the family's daughters, Daniel began tormenting them by making strange noises, moving items, and leaving unsettling messages. The family eventually discovered him living in a crawlspace behind their walls, wearing their late mother's clothes. This terrifying invasion highlighted his disturbing behavior, which escalated to a horrific triple murder of another family later. LaPlante is now serving multiple life sentences in prison.